In this lesson, we'll start with a new file. Go up to your top menu and click on File, New. If you're on a PC and it asks you to save the file you were working on, you don't need to save it. In the new file, we're going to talk about the Polygon tool. So over in your large tool set, click on the Polygon tool to select it. Now remember, the Polygon tool is a two-click tool. So in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, click once, move the mouse, and click a second time to set a polygon. Now do this one more time to the right. Click once anywhere, move the mouse again, and click a second time. And as soon as you click a second time, don't do anything else with your mouse for just a moment. We have the ability to set the size of the polygon immediately after we've drawn it. Now notice, I don't want you to click, but notice down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, this area is called the measurements box. And the measurements box will tell you something about the measurement in feet and inches. Remember, we're using a feet and inches template. And what that measurement is of. In this case, it's called the inscribed radius. And it's some number of feet and inches for the polygon we just drew. You can change that. So try this. You don't ever want to click in this box down here. Just go over to your keyboard and type 30 and the foot mark for feet and hit enter. And your last polygon will change to an inscribed radius of 30 feet. That means that from the center of the polygon to one of the outside endpoints is 30 feet. You can change it again. Type 25 feet and hit enter, and it'll change again. You can change it as many times as you'd like until you go and do something else. Now, something else could be changing a tool, or it could be starting to draw a new polygon. So for example, draw another polygon here at the bottom. Click once, move your mouse, and click a second time. Change the inscribed radius by typing 30 feet and hitting enter. So changing this inscribed radius, you notice, of course, it did not change the one we were working on, nor did it change the original. Now you can also change the number of sides. So try this. Type 3 and the letter S and hit enter. So sides or segments is what the S stands for. And it changed into a triangle. But this is the Polygon tool, so you can make it as many sides or segments of a polygon as you need to. So try typing 8S and hit enter. Notice too that your cursor changes. So type 3S and hit enter, and your cursor changes so that the next polygon you draw would be a three-sided polygon. Go ahead and click once, move your mouse, and click again. You can change the inscribed radius or the number of sides or segments back and forth as many times as you'd like for the polygon you just drew. But what if you need to change one of the other polygons that you already drew? Go ahead and hover over the original polygon on the edge. So make sure you've got this on edge inference, and right-click with your mouse and open the Entity Info window. If you're on a PC, the Entity Info window will be on the right-hand side of your screen as part of your default tray. So you'll look over there. On a Mac, it will open floating like it is on my screen here. In the Entity Info window, you should see radius and you should see segments. You might have some other information too, but we're just looking for radius and segments here. If for some reason when you right-clicked, you were on the face and you see this kind of highlighted face, you won't get radius or segments. You'll get the area, which can be handy later, and we'll talk about that in another lesson. But for now, if that happened to you, just make sure that you're right-clicking on the edge and picking Entity Info. That edge will highlight blue, and when you pick Entity Info, you'll see radius and segments. Now to change the radius or segments, here's where you do click inside of the little text area. So for example, click and drag to highlight all of the radius information and type 20 feet and hit enter, and it'll change to a 20-foot radius. And of course, you can change the segment. So you can highlight the 6 and type 5 and hit enter, and it'll change to a 5-sided polygon. Now you can close your Entity Info window on a Mac, or you can click anywhere along that top bar where it says Entity Info and it'll minimize it, and you could move it over to the side if you want to keep it open but off to the side. On a PC, it's already in your default tray, so really no need to close it or worry too much about minimizing it. Alright, so we learned all about the Polygon tool, the number of segments, as well as entering the inscribed radius using the measurements box down here. We're going to keep practicing these skills in the upcoming lesson when we cover the circle tool.